Hello and welcome back to the Otaku Network podcast. I'm Steve.
And I'm David.
We're dealing with the third episodes for Seiyuu Voice, Remonster, and Astro Note. So we have a lot to talk about. We'll get right into it with Seiyuu Voice. The episode starts out with a little bit of darkness, as we have Yumiko and Chika's Otaku classmate doing some sleuthing to try to figure out who their two personalities are for their radio show. It looks like he's holding a grudge against them in relation to an idol that he prefers over them. We get to the girls in a similar manner to how they started episode 2, where things they were talking about during their radio show, they end up having to do. This time it's a sleepover at Chika's house. That leads us pretty quickly into a long scene of the two of them in a bathtub together. Yeah, so we show the two girls in the bathtub discussing each other's bodies and bust sizes, to the point where Chika pretty much sexually assaults Yumiko. Twice. After that, they're laying down for bed. Yumiko wakes up, go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and has a introduction and conversation with Chika's mother. Chika's mother is a pretty successful lawyer. I guess we need to back it up, because we forgot to talk about an important conversation between the two girls after the sexual assault in the bathtub. They started to talk to each other about why they were driven to become voice actors. Chika talks about how her father was an animator, and she would, when she was younger, she would sit down and watch programs with him, and he would point out which programs he did artwork for, and it impressed her to the point where she wanted to get into the industry with the dream of being able to work on a project with him at some point. So then we skip ahead back to the conversation between Yumiko and Chika's mother. So Chika's parents are divorced. Chika's mother doesn't agree with her being a voice actor and has a conversation with Yumiko in regards to that, talking about how she doesn't think it's the right way to go because it's not guaranteed and reliable income. Yumiko defends Chika in front of her mother, talking about how, she feels that she has a lot of talent, and with enough time and enough opportunity, she'll be really successful. Chika was eavesdropping at the door to the kitchen and kind of overhears this and scampers away and pretends to be asleep when Yumiko comes back. So in the morning, we see Chika saying goodbye to Yumiko, and there's pleasantries given, and they kind of strengthen their bond of camaraderie, respect as artists within the medium. Skip ahead a little bit, and Yumiko has failed another audition, and then at the same time, she sees news that Chika has landed the prime role in a hot upcoming mecha anime. So her imposter syndrome comes back, she's feeling really bad about herself. It gets worse when she shows up for the taping of the radio program and is told by the director that there's only going to be 4 more episodes, that they're canceling the show because it has not gained the traction. Yumiko doesn't have a lot of time to calm down with the news of the radio program being canceled. She was really banking on this to kind of breathe more life into her career that she's struggling with. Chika comes in pretty quickly, and Yumiko just rails into her, starts attacking her, being spiteful for Chika's success. Mm-hmm. They do the radio program, Chika leaves right away, and the writer of the program talks to Yumiko and tries to let her know that Chika also is, by appearances, distraught about what's going on and concerned about it.
Yeah.
Yumiko feels really bad and is like, all right, I need to apologize to her. School starts again tomorrow. When I see her, I'll make up with her and wish her the best of luck, and, I'll keep pushing ahead. She wakes up in the morning and everything changes. She gets a frantic message from Otome telling her to search up Chika's voice actress idol personality. She gets hit with a flood of attacks coming from all angles of online about Chika sleeping her way into her voice roles. And that's where we end the episode. The minute Yumiko was talking with the writer of the radio program and it was like, oh, I'll apologize to her tomorrow. Death flag. A death flag flew high and proud in my mind. I'm like, their classmate is going to kill her. I kept expecting it when she's like, when she gets the message from Otome going, did you see what happened? You need to search her up. I'm like, oh my God, she's dead. She got stabbed to death. So the whole scandalous pictures of her in compromising situations with older men that are producers of programs, I did not expect it, but I like it.
I did have to rewind when that first came up, because I was like, oh god, they had the balls to kill a character. But no, I had to like pause it so I could read the translation on the screen. I was like, oh, they're saying she's a floozy.
This was a hell of an episode.
Oh my god.
So we start out with, all right, a little bit of strange, interesting darkness, then completely over-the-top fan service.
Oh my god, this fan service. Oh god. Oh, I could rant for the next 20 minutes about how just so unnecessary it was. I was just, my jaw hit the floor. I'm like, what is going on here?
It almost became a Yuri.
I know, and they were even aware of it too.
Yes,
because Yumiko's like, this is Yuri fantasy.
Yumiko was breaking the fourth wall, and she was so.
I had to call my friend to cry. This fan service was so unnecessary.
I was thinking to myself that the voice actors were probably questioning why this was happening in the script as they did the first table read of it. They're like, why are we doing this? Like, what is the purpose of this? So we get served this complete distraction. We get served this distraction, but then it leads into some really nice, heartwarming moments of the two getting closer, and then you get to find out a little bit more, especially about Chika, and meeting her mother and understanding her perspective, and a little bit of Chika's background into why she is. Then we shift into the change of the gears have now started to creak into action, and this platform that the show is based around is going to evaporate. Mm-hmm. And now we have this greater threat of scandal with Chika. Like a pretty extreme scandal with Chika, because she's 15, 16? I believe they're first-year high school students.
Yeah, so...
Which
makes the fan service even worse.
Well, that's just the way it is. We were given a hint as to a possible time frame that we've covered so far in the past 3 episodes. Mm. They were talking about how the radio program has gone for 16 episodes so far. I think it's safe to say that the episodes come out once a week.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a 4-month window right now. Probably, maybe a little bit more. That kind of makes up with some of our problems from the last episode where we had no idea what the progression of time was.
I just remember putting that this was fan service the episode in my notes. It's just so gratuitous.
It was the exact same served up situation as it was in this episode 2 when they were talking about their croquettes. You have a scenario where them as their personas discuss something during the radio program and then decide to make that discussion that they said was real become real. And you spend way too much time with it.
I know. And that's the issue with this anime so far, is that they spend too much time in these scenarios.
Pointless scenarios.
Pointless scenarios, and just not enough time doing the actual voice acting.
Everything after the bath was fantastic.
Yeah, but that's halfway through the episode, roughly.
The bath, probably 5 minutes.
It felt like forever. I felt dirty after watching that.
But they were getting clean.
I don't care. When I tell you I called my friend and had a miniature meltdown, I am not over-exaggerating. Like, when she gets to this part and listens to this part of the podcast, she's gonna laugh. That's how bad it was.
The writing after the bath, the writing was really strong, and the story went in a really good direction, I feel. It is interesting. I can't wait for episode 4 to see what is going to happen with the fallout. I'm really engaged now.
Yeah, I am excited for episode 4. It's just some of the parts of 3 were unnecessary, and it took me out a little bit. But then that hook at the very end where it's like drama, and I'm like, all right, maybe I forgive you.
But oh man, did that death flag fly high? Ho ho ho.
Yeah, I was hoping that it was not going to be another Oshinoko.
Well, we still have to resolve the issue with their classmate now too.
I know, he's a creeper.
Because this whole sleeping your way into your roles scandal appears to not have anything to do with our high school sleuth and his obsession with some other pop idol.
Yeah.
So we have two definite plot directions that we have to deal with. We have to resolve. We have to resolve his mania, and we have to resolve Chika's issue.
Yeah. I do wonder. The bath scene did raise an important question for me. Are they going to try to pull them being a couple?
Chika definitely seems like she's open to a female relationship.
Yes. And that was my, like, she definitely seems like she leans in that camp.
Sure.
And it would be an interesting take on this kind of portion of the genre. Because usually it's like, oh, you know, I found my cute boyfriend and we're going to be cute and blah, 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 blah. But
well, no.
If they take the lovers or enemies to lovers trope, I think that would be kind of an interesting way to end the season.
I would say more normally in a slice of life series like this that deals with an industry type thing, romance usually is kind of very subdued, if non-existent, in a lot of these types of stories.
Fair. It's just that scene was like, I could see them putting that into the, you know, butt end of the season, where that becomes a plot point, you know, to wrap up the rest of the season. Maybe even a season 1 into season 2 type deal, because they have like 3 light novels for this,
which isn't very much.
Right.
I
don't think I think they said the first season gets through the first light novel.
I don't see this getting more than 1 season.
Right.
To be fair.
But that's not going to stop them from setting up that we could maybe get a second season.
Correct. Well,
Mr. Skip and Loafer's never getting a second season.
Skip and Loafer is never getting a second season.
They still set up for a second season.
No. They set up for you to buy the manga. And it worked really well, because both you and I own all of the copies of the English version.
I do need to pre-order.
Volume 9?
Volume 9, yeah.
Yes,
it comes out very soon.
Next month. Just on a side note, the quality of the eerie interaction between Chika and Yumiko reminded me a little bit of the anime Citrus, which I know you've not seen. It's not good, but it reminded me of that a little bit.
Next, we're going to talk about Remonster. This week's episode of Remonster. This episode, I feel, was... The beginning part of it was relatively tame. It's continuing to build the characterization of Gobru, but it does throw in kind of the development of the community of the goblins. He goes through and he talks about how, like, everybody's training really well. This episode was very heavily narrated by him, where he's like, oh yeah, you know, the goblins are training really well. Gabkichi and Gabmi and Habse all are just like, their divisions are building up really well, and they're doing really well. And then he starts talking about how each of the females, the human females that they have, each kind of start connecting to him in a way where the 2 cook girls are like, oh, like, here, try out all these like delicious foods, and it's really laying like this subtext that all of the human women have a crush on him.
Well, before that, the humans each represent a...
They represent a like a guild.
They provide a profession for services for him.
Because there's the 2 girls that are the cooks.
I think they're sisters.
Yeah. Sisters, girls, whatever. Well, I hope they're not sisters, but we'll get to that at the end of the episode.
Pretty sure they're sisters.
I hope they're not. There's the 2 girls that are the sisters, maybe sisters. Then there's the alchemist girl, and then there's the soldier girl.
The redhead fighter.
And then...
There's a number of them, and they each provide a specific service that is useful to to him.
Sorry, I was just trying to point out that they're like, they represent major guilds in like a medieval society.
Yeah, they provide services that are required for the furthering...
The other one's an enchanter.
Yes, that's right. She is an enchanter.
That's what it was. And so they each have like major parts to play in like a fantasy medieval society, and that was kind of laying out the subtext of how I think eventually that they're gonna try to relay human society into the goblins to try and make them more marketable to human society.
Well, he did talk about the idea of forming a mercenary company.
Yeah, he did that too. But I think last episode he too wanted to like integrate human culture into this goblin society so that they're less seen as like these hostile vermin of the forest and more of like a respectable civilization.
He wants to warm relations between the 2 groups of people.
Yes. And so he goes through and does that. He goes and sees each of the 5 girls. Some other just light shenanigans happen where they talk about going and some more training. He's become too powerful. He one-punches goblins basically.
Yeah, he's not a very good sparring partner because
he's too powerful. Another one of the goblins end up bringing him this very tiny little wounded creature called a carbuncle, and this carbuncle relays that she was ambushed by a group of human adventurers. They are raiding her creators. Her creators. Right. But like the father creator kind of trope is there. Raiding her creator's
burial area?
Dungeon? I don't know, burial area?
Abode?
Sure. His abode.
I mean, he's dead.
Right, he's dead. Spoiler alert. Gobru goes, he takes a bunch of goblins with, he goes to try and talk to them first. they're just like, oh, it's an ogre. We're going to try and kill it. And he like keeps trying to talk to them and keep trying to explain to them that he's just here to talk. Stop fighting me. And they just ignore him. And finally he goes, all right, you've pissed me off. And he goes and has him and his goblins beat them up, but not kill them. And then takes all of their gear.
They killed them.
They don't eat them.
He got all of their abilities.
I thought it's because he said he was eating their gear.
No, I'm pretty sure he got abilities from eating them.
Oh, well then
because it started listing character types and class levels.
Right. I guess I misunderstood it because he said that I got a lot of cool stuff from eating their gear.
He did.
Okay, I misunderstood that then.
I mean, I may be wrong too, but
maybe I'll go rewatch that. But no, he gets a bunch of new levels. He either doesn't kill them and lets them go, or he eats them.
He gets a lot of abilities from this success
raid,
of this encounter.
And then as a reward, the carbuncle's like, you can take whatever you want from my father's trove. And they take everything.
Sidebar. The carbuncle was attacked because it has this gem that's essentially its life force attached to its forehead. The gems are apparently incredibly valuable.
Yeah, like $1 billion gold or something.
Something like that. Yeah, it's like
something
ludicrous,
ridiculous.
Yeah. She dies after she endows everything that she'd been guarding to her saviors. Yeah. And then he proceeds to eat the gem as well.
And then they get a bunch of legendary items.
I can't believe he didn't eat the dead dude.
Yeah, he just burnt him.
Yeah, they cremated him.
It does show that he has respect for powerful individuals.
Yes.
Because he recognized that this guy had a lot of legendary shit.
Oh, yeah.
And he was probably super powerful, so he's just like, I'm going to respect this. I will burn you. You can have your rest.
The goblins are well kitted out now.
Yes, the goblins are loaded.
They have legendary equipment upon legendary equipment.
And he got a replacement for his arm.
He did.
He got that really cool, like, Silver Surfer arm thing.
Yeah, he got like a magical gauntlet that adhered itself to his stump.
Yeah.
So I kept thinking that his arm was just slowly regenerating after he lost it in the battle.
Yeah,
with that little weird flappy tail at the end of it.
It was doing stuff.
Yeah, apparently not anymore, though. Now it's just part cyborg.
I like the cool arm. Cool arm's a nice touch.
It looks like something out of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Very shonen. But then he decides that after helping this carbuncle out, he decides he wants to go on more adventure and see if there's anything in this forest that he can eat to level up some more.
He wants more powers.
Because he is power crazy.
Yes.
He finds some like golden spider that spins golden webs. He finds this deer that was, what was the deer immune to?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh no, it had special antlers that was made out of some really expensive...
Is it a gem, I think?
It was like a gem or something. It was like really expensive gemstone or mineral antlers.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly the specifics.
And then he comes across a dryad. And he recounts from the old man goblin that dryads are sex fiends, and they will lure you into sexual intercourse so that they can steal your soul and kill you.
Yeah, they're
your life force.
They're succubi.
Yeah, succubi or
sirens.
The dryads are a mix of both in
this world setting.
Yes. And so he's like, oh crap, I found a dryad, I'm gonna die. And then he is like being seduced by her. He's like, I gotta do something. And then, magic penis powers.
He unveils an ability that he had gathered at some point, just named libido.
Yeah. And it was the most ostentatious, like, I have penis power I've ever seen in a show ever. American, Japanese, anything.
Well, we just need to show you more anime.
I know, but I'm suffering. But anyway, 5-hour bang session with this dryad.
Yeah, it's kind of the situation of the guy gets the prostitute to pay him when they're done.
Yep. She asks him to come back because she had so much fun.
Yes.
Anyway, he goes back after this, wild 5 hours with the dryad, to find that all of the women that were once comfortable with him are snubbing him.
They can smell sex on him.
No, they can see the hickeys.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was.
Because he goes around and he's like, why are they all like the cook girls try to poison him? Gobme's like, The redhead girl's like, and they're all just like ignoring him. And finally he goes to Habse and he's like, what is wrong with everyone? And she's like, dude, you have hickeys just all over the place. That's probably why they're all pissed at you.
Yeah, all these girls are trying to ride you and you come back obviously having done something that they wanted to do with you.
And so he goes to the apothecary then, and she is like, the long story short, she's basically like, I don't care that you had sex with another woman. because I'm gonna try to have sex with you. She, like, tries to force herself on her, and Gobmi's like, I'm not okay with this unless I can join in. And then the redheaded girl's like, I'm not okay with this unless I can join in. And then all of the girls join in, and he has a fucking orgy with 6 women.
Yeah, the episode ends with him banging all of the girls.
And the spider web was an important part of the anime because he used it to seal the damn door.
From the gold spider, yeah.
To say that I was not expecting this much sex and fan service this week was an understatement.
Remember last episode when I told you that somebody had spoiled something to me?
Was this the spoil?
They spoiled that this is a harem.
I just remember the orgy scene coming up, texting the same friend that I had cried about Seiyuu Radio to, going all caps, this is a harem anime!
Yes. Now, the person who told me about that also admitted that they didn't read much further after that. I don't know how strong of a harem the story will continue to be.
Oh god, I accidentally picked a harem anime. I guess that's the dice you roll when you pick a shonen.
Sure. Well, yeah, we'll go with that.
Well, I mean, it happens a lot, surprisingly. Sword Art Online's technically a harem anime. He doesn't sleep with any of them, and he has, his one girlfriend. But all the girls are like, "You're kind of cute," and I'm like, "Eh."
So the libido thing reminded me of an old anime.
It reminded me of a scene from an anime that somebody had showed me once, where there's this guy that gets, like, stopped by the police, and for some reason he's, like, wearing a bra, and then he, like, flexes and it pops off, and then he starts, like, super pelvic thrusting towards the cops, and they're like, oh god, we gotta get out of here. I got shown it by somebody at the game store I go to.
Okay.
But
you don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
You'll have to ask them next time you see them what that was.
They don't come to the store anymore.
That's fair. No, okay. The libido thing, certain qualities of the show started to remind me of an old anime called Bastard. Bastard originally came out as a 6-part OAV in the mid-90s. Mm-hmm. And then a couple of years ago, Netflix greenlit redoing it. I didn't like the redo. I'll have to show you the original OAVs. Okay. Because it's funny as hell. But there's some similarities.
Okay.
And the hook of it is, all of the spells that the main character casts are the names of 80s hair metal bands. One thing I want to bring up, because I don't think we knew their names before, the 2 hobgoblins.
The 2 female ones?
Yeah, I don't think we knew their names before. So we learned
that. We know Hobbs, because I think he said it in the second episode.
Maybe I didn't notice.
Anyway.
But I noticed them this episode.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, did they pick names for themselves after they transformed into hobgoblins?
Potentially, because their names are...
Start with Hob.
Hob, yeah.
Instead of Gob.
Or were they born as hobgoblin? No.
I don't think so. I don't think that's how that works.
From what we understand of goblin biology so far, I do not think that's how it works either.
After the fight with the humans, I'm really starting to think that this is just an MMO.
It might be.
Like, seriously starting to think this is an MMO.
It could be.
So... Each episode, he gets stronger and stronger. The power fantasy keeps growing and growing. What do you think the cap is?
Godhood.
Godhood. That's very likely.
Though I really think that he's going to somehow become some, like, just goblin deity.
He's going to become so powerful that something really strong notices him and starts to interact with him.
Potentially. It could be like the legendary monsters from Shangri-La Frontier.
Oh, yeah, where they ignore you if you're a certain level.
Yeah, but like, oh, you've come a certain level, we're going to fight you now.
Yeah, so I think with the next episode, we're going to see an expansion of the world.
Probably.
Theoretically, he has done everything he needs to do within the area of the Goblin Cave. He has theoretically conquered the forest. Mm-hmm. And he's power hungry.
Seems like it.
He's going to leave the forest. And he's going to bring his army with him.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Should be interesting.
Hopefully. Episode 3 of Astro Note picks up where Episode 2 left off, with the appearance of Shoin Ginger, who is claiming to be Mira's fiancé. We found out pretty quickly that he's not her fiancé. They're childhood friends. That doesn't convince Takumi, though. So he starts to become pretty stressed out about his chances with Mira, even though he doesn't really realize he has no chance given the fact that she's an alien who's trying to find the key to become the queen of her peoples. Showing Ginger almost exposes Naosuke's true identity. Ren notices it right away.
Oh yeah.
And
because he had seen Naosuke standing.
Yeah. So Ren is very suspicious.
Oh yeah.
Mira kind of like quickly hurries him away and kind of gives him the rundown of how they're hiding the fact that they're aliens. Nobody questions the fact that Shoin Ginger looks like Lelouch from Code Geass. Like, at all. They're just like, cool. This guy's weird.
I like it when
Teruko?
Both go and like corner Mira and they're like, where's he from? What's he do? Is he rich? And they're like,
the lie that gets fabricated is he is a wealthy British investor. And they're like, checks out.
Because she was drinking a beer that had UK on it.
Because Teruko had a beer that had UK.
Yeah.
And Mira's like, Mira Usual Suspects the shit out of Shoin Ginger's identity. Kaiser Sose. Shoin Ginger is now a part of the plot, part of the cast. Mira renews her efforts to find the key, working with him to try to find it, because he knows what's going on. He can be an extra set of eyes.
Yeah.
Takumi becomes really concerned that they're more than just childhood friends and stresses out about it.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Naosuke sets up a spy camera in the dining room to figure out who's been stealing meals. Mira brings up a thing of maybe it's ghosts, because she's been watching too many late-night TV shows.
Yeah.
Naosuke is a rationalist, is like ghosts don't exist. Sets up the spy cam. Ren almost catches him setting it up in the middle of the night. Like, flicks on the light to get a late-night snack. Naosuke freezes, drops to the floor, and Ren comes up to him and goes, "You're not really a dog, are you?"
And then a chase scene ensues.
Naosuke plays it cool, can't let the cover get blown, but Ren is very, very suspicious. Significantly more suspicious than he was before.
Ren does chase Naosuke.
Yes.
Remember there's the scene where Naosuke's like up in the ceiling like, I'm barely tall enough to do this. Like,
yeah, Ren chases Naosuke to a dead end, and Naosuke ninjas himself into the ceiling, and Ren gives up the chase. We have our A-plot of Mira's continued search for the key, which also makes Takumi think that her and Shoin Ginger are more than just friends. The B-plot deals with Ren and the struggles of being the child of a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
Ren comes back to the lodge a little distraught, has a note from school. Naosuke spies on it, kind of points it out to Mira and Takumi when they ask what's wrong. Long story short, Ren's class is going to a trip to Enoshima.
Yeah.
Sidebar, the area that Enoshima exists in is the primary location of Rascal Doesn't Dream.
I realize that.
They go to Enoshima significantly.
Yeah, I realize that.
All right. Ren's concern is that he has to bring a lunch. And he really wants to bring a homemade lunch like all the other kids. He doesn't want to bring rice balls from the convenience store. Takumi goes, "I got you. I'm going to make you whatever you want for lunch." Problem solved. Make the lunch. He's about to go. Lunch disappears. Ren's distraught. Mira's like, "Look, we'll find it, and we'll meet up with you and get it to you." Ren leaves. Not necessarily sure if it's going to happen, but leaves anyways. Mira goes to Takumi and goes, "Just make another one." They make it, and they rush out the door. Train's delayed. They can't get on the train. Shoin Ginger shows up in the Mach 5. He's literally driving a Taiwanese knockoff of Speed Racer's Mach 5.
Yep.
And they zoom off.
It is important to know that he shows up because he knows they're being chased by the other planet's like spy drone thing.
The hubbies, they refer to them as. I couldn't remember what their name was the last time. Yep. We have maybe a different or the same robot bird that turns into a Roomba showing up. Shoin Ginger was like, "This thing is following you, let me help you."
And then Mira's like, "You need to take us, like now."
Yes.
Just drive.
So they zoom off to Enoshima. The pelican, sees the package that Mira's guarding that has Ren's lunch. And is relaying information back to its masters, and the masters believe that must be the key. We have to retrieve it. So the bird is on a mission to retrieve what is ultimately Ren's lunch. Madcap antics ensue. Takumi is oblivious to everything. Shoin Ginger's car transforms and flies. Mira constructs a surface-to-air missile. Takumi gets into a fist fight with the robot pelican.
I love that fist fight.
To protect Ren's lunch, and doesn't question anything.
He got his ass beat, too.
He did get his ass beat. That pelican fucked him up.
It was only because of Shoin that he He didn't get his ass completely.
Yeah, Shoin showed up and saved the day because he is the caped hero.
The Caped Crusader.
I don't understand why Takumi can't realize that things are not normal. Is he just that deep in his depression about thinking he can't win Mira's heart?
Maybe.
He was way too oblivious for my own...
Yeah, I was just like...
Car flew over another thing. It just... There was a lot of weirdness that happened, and Takumi's like, it's cool. Yep.
Cars nowadays are wild.
Yeah. Yeah. At first, he like... Shoin was talked to his car's AI and was like, let's go here. And I'm like, oh, Tesla has made this normal in modern times. And then it converted its wheels into hover pads like it was some, like it was, I don't know, some 80s afternoon cartoon.
Yeah.
And flew over, I don't know, what, a cargo truck?
Yep.
And Takumi was like, yeah, that's cool. That's standard. That's normal. Yeah. And then, yeah.
And then the surface-to-air missile.
Yeah,
Don't you know everybody in Japan has SAMs?
Well, SAMs that, like, deconstruct or construct themselves from suitcases.
Yeah, everybody has that in Japan.
Yeah, well,
Isn't that standard, Japanese?
Yes. Yeah, every schoolgirl has a SAM.
Good.
That's how you keep perverts away from yourself on the train.
Surface-to-man missile.
Surface-to-man missile. End of the day, they succeed in getting Ren his lunch, which was miraculously not destroyed with how much that thing flew through the air.
Oh
it was
God.
in perfect order. I was amazed.
Shock absorbers in that bento box.
Yeah, I think there were a number of liberties taken with this episode in regards to physics and reality.
And then Takumi freaks out when a hawk shows up because he thinks it's going to come down and have a fist fight with him.
I think at that point he was just out of his mind with like stress and endorphins.
Probably. He maybe he suffered, blunt force trauma to the head.
I think he did, yes. That pelican kicked the shit out of him.
Pelican did kick the shit out of him.
Kicked the shit out of him.
It came for his lunch money.
Before the end of the episode, we get a little bit of a subplot with Ren. He's got a girl in his class that he's got the hots for.
Yeah, that was cute.
And Mira and Takumi are like, you go, guy.
You got this, buddy.
Later on that night, Naosuke reviews the footage from his spy camera that he set up in the dining room, and it looks like the culprit that's stealing the food is an analog for Sadako from The Ring. Harkening back to the original conversation about ghosts with Mira.
Yep.
To be fair, though, I think it's Teruko.
I think it is, too.
It's probably going to be her.
I think she's, like, just drunk off her ass.
No, I think she's...
or she sleepwalks.
No. I think she... Because you got to think, food has been coming up missing during the daytime as well.
Bold of you to assume that woman does not day drink.
She is very protective of her own things. Probably also does not care about ownership of other people's things.
Potentially.
I think what we'll get... So this episode is really a focus on Ren.
Yes.
Perhaps next episode, as they try to resolve this food theft thing, we'll have an episode that focuses on Teruko. Because we don't really know anything about her.
That's true.
And then I think something tells me through the course of the show, we will have these profile episodes of all of the other characters.
Probably. We didn't see any of Shochiki.
No.
Like, at all. I don't even... Oh, no. No, he did.
He showed up a little bit. He played a very minor role within the episode.
It's because he had his big break in the first and second episodes.
Yeah.
At this point, though, I'm very invested in this anime.
It's been really reliable the entire way through.
I really, 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 really like it. I have recommended it to many people that I know that watch animes, and I'm just like, you have to watch it. It's adorable.
Yep, it's fun. The characters are fantastic. They're very, very unique and not unique, but they're eccentric. They have easily identifiable personalities and quirks.
They have idiosyncrasies.
No, it's a really enjoyable show, and it'll be really interesting to see how it progresses and where the plot leads it.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Because it's up in the air at this point. We know she has to find the key, and we know that Takumi has to confess his feelings to her. Beyond that, anything else is...
Everything goes.
Yep. And as we've seen so far, they're willing to take a lot of liberties with what's going on in this story.
Mm-hmm. Like fighting pelicans.
Hoverton. Oh. Mach 5.
Mach 5.
It's literally Mach 5.
Wish.com Mach 5.
No, the Temu.5. Temu Mach 5.
Okay, fine, Temu.
Temu Mach 5. So with that, week 3 is done, and it was an impactful week.
Oh God, that's an understatement. I will give it that Seiyuu Radio, his story is starting to ramp up towards being actively interesting.
Yes. It
just took, 2.5 episodes before I became fully invested, and a scene of suffering that I had to deal with. Re-Monster is kind of just staying level right now, for me at least.
Okay.
The revelation that it's a harem anime was kind of disheartening.
Are you glad I didn't tell you?
I'm very glad you didn't tell me. Otherwise, I don't think there would have been as visceral a reaction to this week's episode.
That's kind of why I wasn't going to tell you.
I would have seen it coming and I'd be like, there it is. But no, it was visceral. And then, in my opinion, Astro Note just keeps going up every week, better and better.
I think Astro Note has been consistently high level through all 3 episodes.
It has like these, like, if you were to like graph my excitement, it'd be like high throughout most of the episode, and then there's those scenes where you're just like, this is awesome, I'm laughing my ass off, and it bumps up again.
Yeah, I think Seiyuu Voice was my favorite episode of the week, with just the shift in the story to something dramatic and interesting.
The second half of Seiyuu Voice was very good.
Really good.
But for an overall episode enjoyment, I'm going to vote Astro Note was my favorite for this week. It has been every week so far that Astro Note has been my favorite, and I like the consistency of it.
Yes. It's a quality show overall, and I don't think we have to worry every week whether something's going to be weird or not with it. It's going to be, what are they going to do this time?
I know, it's our go-to. It's the thing that we can be confident that we're going to have a happy, good episode the whole time. Maybe not happy the whole time, but like, we're going to go in with high expectations. We're going to leave with those expectations met.
Yes. I don't know if I did it intentionally. No, I didn't do it. Well, I didn't do it with that in mind of being a palate cleanser, but I did watch them in order that we discussed this week. But it's more, I just worked through my watch list on Crunchyroll in order, and those episodes fell in that order. Yeah, it was a good palate cleanser. Though, to be fair, I was watching 5 other shows within the same block of time that I watched all 3 of these.
I mean, that's fair. I've been watching Shangri-La Frontier, and I've been watching Vinland Saga.
Sure.
So I also have, additional shows that are occupying my time.
Cleanse the palate.
Yeah.
Reset you from the weirdness that is Re-Monster.
Oh, God.
We're going to have to watch Bastard. There's a lot you need to see.
On an unanime note, I started watching another show with a friend. Some, like, Adult Swim, like, Heroes of the Unicorn, whatever thing.
Okay.
It's very interesting. She bought it on Amazon, and she's like, here, let's watch this together, and I hated it at first, and now I'm super invested.
Nice. You'll have to give me the name of that.
I'll have to have her text it to me. Very interesting shows that I've been watching.
Good. Expand your viewing horizons.
I try to.
That is the end of episode 3. Thank you very much for listening. David, any last words?
Avoid the fan service. Don't let the fan service define you.
Some people just like the fan service, though.
Makes me cry.
Just because it's not for you doesn't mean it isn't valid. Thanks again, everybody. We will see you next week.